Hi everybody, and welcome to my new set of videos entitled Angular Component Styling. Now in this first video, I'm not going to be talking about Angular at all. In fact, I'm going to talk about the problem that Angular styling tries to deal with, okay? And that is the fact that we can't have a portion of the page that can be styled individually to the rest of the page, okay? And to demonstrate this problem, I've got three paragraphs. One is a global paragraph, which is basically a paragraph that could be written by a document author, and then two other paragraphs that could be contained inside of components that somebody else may have written. Okay, and they want to have their styles not overwritten by the styles of the content author. So let's have a quick look at how CSS works in terms of overriding the DOM as it stands. So just say, right, that we have a content author, or a document author, I should say. He comes in and he wants to style all these paragraphs on his web document a certain way. So for the case of this example, I'm just going to set the background to, let's say, red, and we'll go the font size, we'll set it to 1.5 rem, okay? Now, if he does this as it stands at the moment, it's going to affect every single paragraph, including the paragraphs inside of each component. So let's just quickly check that out. So as you can see now on the page, every single paragraph is affected. But what if the person who writes component 1 doesn't want a red background? They want, no matter what, they want it to be green. And what if the person in component 2 wants to have it in blue, a background color of blue, right, instead of red? How can they basically go about writing a CSS selector that will target only their component? And so as a result, any styling that's written by the document author will not affect it, okay? So let's have a look at an example that someone may do in this case. So coming back over to the code here, say we have a separate style sheet for the component author, right? We'll put both styles in the same style tag here. And they might say, all right, so it's possible that somebody's going to use the P element. So there's no point using the P element here, because if ours gets run after it, so if I go background green, right, say the component 1 wanted the background to be green, right, and the font size to be 4 times rem, what impact will this have on the entire document? Let's take a look. Well, as you can see, because it was included second, it actually overrides the red behavior of the document author, which is not ideal, right? So they can't use that selector. It's too generic, right? It's going to affect what other people are doing. So they have to be a little bit more specific with how they target their component, okay? How do they do this? Well, let's take a look. So basically, we can't use the P element, right? Because if we use the P element, we're overriding the styles of anything that may be declared globally. So what a lot of component authors will do is they'll apply a class to their components. So let's just say we have a class selector here called LD component, and we come down and I go class like this and go LD component. We'll say LD component 1. Let's make it LD component 1. Right? And save. If I now go back and check the browser, now we can see that only the component 1 is being affected. Now, can we do the same for component 2? Well, let's do the same for component 2. All right, so let's come in and we'll give it a new class selector called component 2, and we'll change it to blue, and maybe we'll make it 3 red, okay? And come down, we can do the same thing here. So now this component has a specific class. Now if I save this, what's going to happen? As we can see now, if we look, the global paragraph is still red, so that was the style provided by the document author. The component 1 author provided a background color of green, so that's working. And the second component author has got a background color of blue, so that's working. So you're like, okay, well, what's the actual problem here, right? The actual problem, and I'll demonstrate this in a second, is that we're living off the fact that CSS works on specificity, right? Now, if you don't know what specificity is, basically it's like a ranking system. If you apply more selectors to your CSS rule, it gets a higher value of specificity. Now, because of that, it means that the person who is authoring the document can still override the behavior of anything inside of a component here. So even though we've given a very unique class to these components, if we write another CSS rule, right, that is got a higher specificity and includes targeting the paragraphs inside of these components, it will actually still override it. So let's see an example of that. So back over in the code. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to come up to the original rule here where I'm just targeting paragraph tags. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to add 2 class selectors in front of it, like so. So what we're saying now is I want to target any paragraph that fits inside of something that has a class row, that fits inside of something that has a class container, right? So if I come down to the markup, we can see this is not going to work at the moment, but if I come in and create 2 divs, like so, right, and I will put this stuff inside of those 2 divs, and paste, and whoops, let's just quickly tab these over. If I give this a class of row and give this one a class of container, right, we are now, any paragraph inside of this row div is now going to match this above style, right? Now you still think, well, so what? You still got the unique LD component 1, right, and LD component 2. The problem is that because we have 2 classes here instead of 1, in this case, this now has a higher specificity value. Say, for example, a class selector has a value of 10, right? And maybe let's say the P element itself has a value of 1. In this case, it's 21 because it's 2 times 10 and 1, that's 21. These 2 are only 11, right? So anything that they're doing is going to be overwritten by this rule up here. And let's see this in action. And as you can see, now the rules have been overridden and we've gone back to the original issue of the document author was able to override the styles of that inside of the component. So putting a simple class selector is not going to fit the problem. Okay, it's not going to solve anything. And to be honest with you, no matter how hard we try, we can use any combination of selectors we want, it's still never going to work. Okay, so that's the problem that Angular is trying to deal with. Okay, they're trying to create a boundary where no matter what CSS is applied to the global document, it will not affect any of its components. Okay, now before I get to how Angular solves it, I want to, in the next video, talk about how the W3C is planning to solve this problem using a concept known as the shadow DOM. So I'll see you in the next video.